My name is Gregory Griffin, and I'd like to thank all of you who are Chartwell members, as well as anyone who is joining us for the first time. Our mission at Chartwell is to drive excellence in the utility industry by connecting the industry to solutions. And today's webinar is one of the many ways that we strive to achieve this goal. Without further ado, I would like to welcome up our partner for this webinar, SmartMeasures, who's going to be talking to us about how to recognize early stage financial stress in utility customers and what to do about it. The prep for this webinar has been really exciting. They've got a lot of really great practical ways to really increase the way that you're identifying customers and can really help you in that arrears management and collections realm.
I'm going to open our discussion grounding us on the utility perspective and what utilities are saying relative to this growing challenge. Let's start with the insights from Chartwell's Vulnerable Customer Leadership Council, a council comprised of 30 utilities from across the U.S., Canada, and Puerto Rico with over 400 utility professionals. This group of leaders is experiencing the challenge of managing financial distress of vulnerable customers from many, many different perspectives, as you might imagine. So let's see what they're saying relative to today's discussion. As the lead of this council, as Eric mentioned earlier, since its inception of January 2022, a lot has changed over the years, but one thing that has remained constant until recently is members saying identifying and engaging vulnerable customers is the highest priority. When we asked that members what their priority was in 2025, we didn't see what I'd call a change. Rather, we saw a dramatic shift and found that members are now considering the utilization of data and technology to better serve vulnerable customers as the highest priority focus. So why is Pat saying this is not a change and it's a shift? Well, when we ask customers why, the answer was the same across the board. They're still considering identifying and engaging vulnerable customers as a priority. But they felt like they needed to focus a little further upstream and leverage the advances data and technology are affording them to help identify and engage vulnerable customers. And here's where the shift occurs. Early in the billing and payment journey is where they need to start focusing. Before they reach stages, they being the customer, reach stages that are insurmountable for both the customer themselves and the utility, considering the resources the utility has to help. A minute ago, when we talked about what members considered as the highest priority focus, we heard that it was using data and technology. Now we're going to talk about looking at what their greatest challenge has been over the last 12 to 18 months. And then another very pronounced response. You can see 63% of our members told us that managing arrears and delinquent account challenges was and is their greatest challenge.
Now, this infographic is from Smart Energy Consumer Collaborative. They surveyed customers in May 2023 and again in May last year. What you'll see here is nearly 1/3 of customers report struggling to pay their electricity bill. And it's closer to half for low-income households. But we're also seeing a shift in behaviour. 44% of customers report making a late payment. Now, that's up from 39% in 2023. But only 17% have applied for an assistance program. Now, alarmingly, that's down from 27%. So what we're seeing is more customers are falling behind, while fewer are accessing support. Now, that's an important disconnect. So what this is telling us is quite simple. Customers are under increasing pressure, and as we've heard, utility debt is rising. At the same time, collections processes are more mature than they've ever been, and yet arrears remain elevated. Now, that's the tension. It's not that collection strategies are broken, they're doing exactly what they're designed to do, but the environment has changed. Typically, the debt management process begins with a missed payment. Now, that makes sense. It's a clear signal and a legitimate point to engage. From there, the collections process begins and the account enters early stage arrears pathway. Supported by collections processes, as we've said, very mature and have been refined over many years. While many customers will resolve quickly, others are experiencing early stage financial stress, and they are far more likely to progress towards persistent high-value arrears. The challenge here is they all move through the same pathway, they receive the same messages, and they don't become visible as different until much later. As they move further along this pathway, the situation changes, as you all know. Balances grow, engagement becomes less consistent, and conversations become more complex for both the customer and the utility. By the time accounts reach late stage arrears, support options are limited and the cost of action is increasing and the likelihood of full recovery is significantly reduced. But interesting, not all customers on this path are the same. Those customers in late stage arrears aren't new. They didn't just suddenly become 90 days plus past due. They were here at the start. At the start, at the point of a missed payment, the system records an event. But what it doesn't show you is the trajectory that's about to follow. For many customers, the issue resolves quickly, a payment timing issue, a forgotten bill, something temporary. But for a growing group, that missed payment is the beginning of a debt trajectory. They're on a different path. Some customers on the path to late stage arrears, but we just couldn't see it. And this isn't because the process failed, but because it treats everyone the same at the moment that they are most different. Customers experiencing early financial stress are far more likely to progress to persistent high-value arrears. They need a different conversation and support to help them resolve their issue.